Good afternoon from Glenwood Lutheran Church. My name is Pastor Mark Manning. Welcome. Do you ever struggle with what the Bible has to say and what you should do with it? Today and this coming weekend, our lesson from the second letter of Paul to Timothy has this curious thing to say. All Scripture is inspired by God and is useful for teaching, for reproof, for correction, and for training in righteousness, so that the person of God may be proficient, equipped for every good work. Back to my question. Do you ever struggle with what Scripture has to say? Whether you think it applies, whether it might be useful any more for our contemporary time or place or your particular circumstance. I think we do struggle with Scripture's authority. What does it mean? What does it say to us? What is its application in our life? And this particular passage, we can become hung up on this idea that it's all inspired. And when we think of inspired, too often people say also along with it, well, it's inspired and it's literally true. That's not what Paul says. It's inspired by God. And then he says it's useful. Because it's inspired, it's useful for teaching, for reproof, for correction, and for training in righteousness, so that you'll have this outcome which will be equipped to do all of God's work. And it's interesting, I think, because it owns up to the fact that Scripture means different things in different circumstances, in different times. You might have a tool bag, or you might have a drawer in your kitchen, but generally they don't all hold the same thing. Only one tool, only one kitchen utensil. You've got a bunch of different ones. And Scripture is much more like that. It's like a tool bag that you use, and you bring out different things for different purposes. And Paul outlines them. He says teaching. It's good for teaching. Teaches us about God. Also teaches us about ourselves sometimes. For reproof. The sense that its authority sometimes trumps the authority of other things in our world that would hold themselves up as more important. For correction. It can give us or guide us rather back into a path when we have kind of found ourselves going down the wrong way. And for training in righteousness, and I really like that as an athlete and coach, the sense that Scripture is like a little training program. And if you're going to get in better shape, or if you're going to meet your goals, well, you're going to have somebody from outside, like a coach, come to you and say, well, this is what you should do now. This is what you should do now. And it won't be easy, but you're supposed to do it if you're going to reach your goals. So Scripture is inspired, but not just in and of itself as sort of a thing that we use to swing at people and kind of hit them over the head with, but rather it's like a tool bag when you're working on your car and you're trying to figure out how the best way to get it running again. It gives you all sorts of possibilities for attacking the problem and fixing it and continuing on your way. And I hope it's that way for you in your life as well. Inspired by God, but with a multiplicity of